want me to laugh and drink and say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa! All right. Welcome to the fifth quarter fantasy cast. Coach D.
The repeat.
All right. Welcome to the fifth quarter fantasy cast. We're here. We're back. I'm Coach V. Dr. Dry is here. Peepaw on the board.
Praise
all
peeps.
day. Everyone's back in the house. It's been a while. When was the last time we had an episode?
February.
So was that post Super Bowl or pre Super Bowl?
Post
Super Bowl. Okay,
Post
so
Malone.
it's been a minute. It's been a good minute. It's been a few months. Lots happened. So we got to catch up on everything. So what's new with y'all? What's important in your life? What do you care about? I don't care about your personal life. I care about your fantasy life. What's new to you in your fantasy life?
Well, if you can tell by my title today, I am the proud Rashi Rice owner who's really anxious right now, waiting to see what happens with that trial if he ever ends up. But if he does, I'm Billy York, man. You're my guy.
All right.
That's it.
So worried about Crushy Rice and yeah, that's he's fast. We always knew he was fast, but we didn't know he was that fast. So anyway, yeah, I've been just balls deep in research. Looking forward to some rookie drafts coming up. One in about 3 to 4 months, and then the other one in about a month. So a couple of those drafts coming up. Just been real excited about that. And the NFL draft is coming up in a week, so that's huge. I've been making my cuts on my dynasty teams. One of the league, the one that Vinny's in, just not very trade happy. Still very fun, but felt really weird to just drop Trevor Lawrence. So, like, whenever you just don't have a need, we play a lot of 1 QB. We don't play that super flex stuff. That's what happens. So, that's what I've been up to. What about you, Coach V, you crazy fifth grader?
Oh, I'd say I've been taking like a pretty fantasy break just because sometimes you got to have fantasy break so you can go hard when the time comes. I think post NFL draft I will get more hype because like I just want to know where these guys are going to be because so much of it is fit and system. Like Caleb Williams going to Chicago. Chicago's creating a lovely little place for him to go to. Whereas who knows who's, if MHJ goes somewhere and he's got no QB to throw him the ball. Well, okay, that's fine. Yeah. So like I can't get too pumped fantasy wise until I know where these guys are going to be. So I think post draft I will get more hype. Also, I'm tired of hearing about the quarterbacks. Like I want to, like you hear about the quarterbacks, you hear about the top receivers. No one's talking about any fantasy relevant running backs in the rookie draft. There's just not a lot of hype till tonight. Oh, you've got that ready.
Yeah. It's not a bad class. Everyone thinks it's a bad class. It's just because the receivers are so good. But I think it's I don't know. It really does depend on landing spot. So right now we just kind of have a half chub going, but that's all right. So
we do have some news.
Oh yeah, OJ died.
Yeah,
a good man.
Matt's really upset about that.
Yeah.
I guess he's pro murder. Big murder guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can get an HJ, you can get a BJ, you don't want to get an OJ. So we'll just lead with that. But tonight, we have also have a second baby now. That happened. So anyway, he's doing good though. So got and my son starts sports next hopefully this Saturday. It's been rained out the first 2 weeks, so we'll see how that goes.
Wait a minute, did that ruin an entire sport, or do they just push it back?
No, they just push it back, but we like really have no more rain days. So he'll be starting off with soccer. So go green team. We'll see how the green team does. And he's going against tip top competition. It's 3 to 5 year olds. So we'll see how it goes. But the team's fucking stacked though. Like we got like four of his friends on there. Like it's gonna be good. So, anyway, just wanted to lead off and invite all 3 of our listeners if they would like to join this rookie mock draft. Here is a link that I just placed in our comment section. Feel free to click on it. We do have some open spots. I'm going to leave that open for a couple more minutes before we start. And basically, we are doing we don't do the super flex thing, so it's going to be a 1 QB, 7 rounds, and it's at the end like you're just kind of throwing darts. So so
if you want some darts to throw, just remember to use code 5th Quarter FancyCast.
At Underdog.
Where should we use it? Where should we use that code? Should I go to Walmart and just like when I check out, should I go, oh, hey, 5th Quarter?
It wouldn't be the strangest thing they've heard all day, so give it a shot. You might make someone's day if you do that. But really use it at Underdog and get your first deposit matched up to $100.
Okay.
There you go.
Use it at Underdog. Very important.
Or Walmart.
Try it at Walmart.
Or Walmart. I think it's a growing universal currency where you just say 5th Quarter Fantasy Cast, and it's basically worth $100. Yeah, it's like crypto. It's like the value is shifting constantly, but it's there to the moon. Oh, wow.
There we go.
Wow.
It's because I say 5th Quarter Fantasy Cast so much. So that's play money, though. I just have it here to look cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Bam. Just kidding. Bam. All right. Let's see who all is in here. So we have Superfan Matt, and that's it. So, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Just so everybody knows, kind of the lineup, and you don't even have to draft a QB if you don't want to. This is just for fun, but really to kind of see where we think these guys are going to land. I'm sure there's already a shit ton of mock drafts out there. So, check out one of those real channels if you want. But, we're looking for a 39th subscriber, so we would love for you to watch and throw us a subscribe while you're here. Give us a thumbs up as we slowly take over YouTube. So, basically the roster, QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flexes. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. And we are going to go ahead and start the draft. Look at Superfan Matt in the 4 slot right there.
Is he a PPR or a standard league?
PPR. So, PPR, just the rookies, and that's everything. Is everybody ready to rock?
Let me check.
All right.
Ready.
All right. What?
Already.
Oh. Already. All right. So, and we do have Peepaw drafting out of the 3 slot, myself drafting out of the 7 slot, and Coach V out of the 11 slot. So that way you get kind of a good, just a good feel for where everyone's at. All right. Starting draft. All right. So we had Marvin Harrison go first. Malik Neighbors go second. Peepaw, where are you thinking at number 3?
Since we do have a PPR, obviously your wide receivers are king in this. Seems like a pretty much a no-brainer as far as who's next. It's kind of consensus that Roman Dunze is topping the board as the 3rd wide receiver. So with that, I will go.
Nice. Yeah, always a good pick. I think Rome and a lot of other drafts would be at the top. I know myself, like I'm in the it's starting to gain traction, but I'm a Malik Neighbors over everyone kind of guy. So so yeah, I would go Neighbors 1, but I totally get the argument for Harrison. But I think it's Harrison, Neighbors, and then you have Odunze kind of leading off that second tier. Everything else kind of going as planned. We had Superfan Matt take Brock Bowers at 4, and I think that's extreme value in like a pretty shallow tight end class. I guess where are y'all's thoughts? Any thoughts on Dunze, Bowers, Williams, Brian Thomas in the 3 through 6 slots?
Um, I, I want to leave with a caveat is that obviously this is still pre NFL draft, so depending where these guys land, could also switch up these rotations of these guys. I mean, what are the odds Bowers ends up on a team that already has a tight end 1? You start running a 2 tight end kind of scheme on the offense. Anything can still happen. So for now, though, he's a solid pick based on what he's done in college.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, Caleb Williams, CPU took him at 5. And he's actually my second quarterback in this class. I really don't even like him. But I guess I like Jaden Daniels a little bit more. Something about those LSU guys coming out. Love Brian Thomas. I do think he's the wide receiver 4 in this class. And he was just very productive there at LSU with Malik Neighbors. You see that they have 3 in the top 6 here, which is just amazing. So with my pick at 7, and I think he is the 5th best receiver on the board, I'm gonna go with Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell out of Texas. I know Xavier Worthy's there too, but if you've watched the film and kind of followed Texas a little bit this last year, AD Mitchell really made that shit run. Like he was who the offense went through. He tested really high as far as like athletic ability goes. Like he had like a 9.7 out of 10 or something on his relative athletic score. So AD Mitchell, love him at 7 there. So that's why I took him.
Well, I'm gonna get exposed. I don't really know shit, so
it's early.
But I do think it's been all wide receiver, quarterback, and the 1 tight end so far. So we're really looking at which the only name I know from the running back class is Jonathan Brooks. That's the only name I know. And I know he's got the ACL thing. But everyone's talked about him being, I don't know, the most exciting, I guess, if he heals up fine. And so I don't care. I'll take Jonathan Brooks.
I don't care. I'll take Jonathan Brooks. So, yeah, Jonathan Brooks, great pick there. I think he's a good value at the 11 because I think he is the best. I think he is RB1 in this class, like a lot of people do. Before that, we saw Daniels go. I was considering him at 7. Drake May's pretty good too. Also, like one thing with Daniels, like he's likely to end up in Washington with the Commanders, which sounds like it kind of sucks. But didn't they just get Cliff Kingsbury, I think? And I don't know, but like as like a coordinator. I don't know if I'm wrong on that or not. But
yeah, the problem is Dan Quinn's their head coach, and he just wasn't.
Oh, he's a defensive guy, right?
Right, yeah. So I mean, hopefully, like kind of coordinator outshines head coach in that situation. But yeah, I don't know. Well, so since quarterbacks, like relevant quarterbacks, are really flying off here, I like the idea of JJ McCarthy going to Denver, or going to Minnesota, because I think if he goes to Denver, Sean Payton's ready to like scheme around him really well, and if he goes to Minnesota, we know he's got one hell of a target that he can do damage with, and I feel like those are the 2 teams interested in McCarthy, so I'm going to take McCarthy.
Nice, yeah, and I must say, so Xavier Worthy, like I'm a little more down on him than a lot of people. I think his 40 time. A lot of people are falling in love with. And he's a fine receiver, but I don't think he's the sixth best on the board. Love Troy Franklin, Lad McConkey. I know superfan Matt loves Lad McConkey.
Yeah.
And McConkey's white. And so anyway, he's apparently a really good route runner, all that stuff. Troy Franklin, speedster out of Oregon. I like Troy Franklin. But yeah, JJ McCarthy definitely should be the fourth QB off the board. I do like Michael Penix as well. We also see Benson and Corum come off, and Keon Coleman, who is someone that I'm kind of down on. So a couple guys I'm kind of looking at here at the 2-6. I'd love a couple guys here, Xavier Legette or Jalen Wright. I think I'm going to go Jalen Wright because out of Tennessee, you watch him, he's got elite speed. Another guy with a really high relative athletic score grade. He is my running back 2 in the class. I like him better than Corum and Benson. So I had to take him there at the 7 or at the 2-6.
I wish it had their college right on the thing.
That would help.
I would like that. I could just pick guys based off their college sometimes.
All right. So since Team 1 and Team 2 don't have a quarterback yet, and there is really one standout left, I wouldn't call Bo Nix a standout. I'd probably call him a tier below. But Michael Penix after that, it pretty much drops off the face of the earth, in my opinion. So with the odds that Team 1 or Team 2 can pick up Penix before he gets back to me, I'm going to draft a quarterback.
Made them suck your Penix. So, yeah, kind of circling back around to the mid-second, like we see Roman Wilson come off Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen, have you guys seen Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin?
No.
Not too much.
He's like 6'2", 6'3", 235, 240. Just built different than a lot of these guys, right? And he's young. He's 20 years old coming out. Like he was playing as a freshman at age 17 and just manhandling everyone. So he's a man amongst boys. I like Braylon Allen. But I've kind of seen this, like you want to look at his stats from 2 years ago and the year before. Cause last year just wasn't good. Kind of a looks like Tarzan plays like Jane kind of guy. Love Xavier Legette. I think he's awesome. Marshawn Lloyd, I really like. Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. I don't typically like Florida wide receivers, but if you saw the catch, he had the best catch in college football last year.
All right. So I do not have a running back yet. And I know if I don't go with him and he doesn't make it back to the doctor, he's going to go before them. But I will go ahead and take Mr. Bucky with the third.
Bucky Irving. Yeah,
Bucky.
Bucky Irving's interesting. I think he's a really good PPR guy. He was like super productive over at Oregon too. So definitely, a good pick at the 3-3, I think.
I think we're starting to get to the area where if you have your eye on a certain guy that you really like, all the the studs are around. So if you have your my guy you like, don't be scared to reach for him a little bit.
Yeah, this is the part where it's like, all right, screw ADP. Actually, my guy's like right here though. But I thought Matt was gonna take him because I know me and him talk often. We both really like this guy. He took Isaac Horrendo, which that guy. So he's interesting. He's very young. I believe his relative athletic score was a 9.9 out of 10, the highest out of everyone at the combine. Or at the coming out. And he's out of Louisville, barely any tread on those tires too. So like I know he split time with somebody. Just a really interesting prospect, really gonna depend on landing spot, draft capital, things like that. Audric Estime, team 6, like idiot. They they Audric Estime's slow as hell. He's out of Notre Dame. A lot of people like him. I don't. The guy I'm going to take here is a guy I'm really excited about. I just really hope he finds a good landing spot. But Malachi Corley,
Yep.
out of Western Kentucky,
Great
he
pick.
is the Yak King. That guy, if you watch his highlight tape, he will get you hype. Like he just I don't know. He's a wide receiver that runs like a running back. I think they had him in there at corner to begin his career at Louisville. Just a guy who can make things happen, a special playmaker who will do really well at the next level, I think.
Okay, I don't know anyone anymore.
Okay.
No one at all.
Well, Luke
I mean,
McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey's brother.
I mean, down here we got Frank Gore somehow snuck back into the NFL rookie draft.
I don't see a junior on that.
He's old as shit, dog. Like, what is he doing?
42-year-old rookie.
I wish when you clicked on it, it was just like Frank Gore. And he's like, yeah, it's me. So, okay, this is a good opportunity, though. So, say it was someone like me, or wait a minute, it is someone like me. And they're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. I see a name I recognize, McCaffrey. Why shouldn't I take Luke McCaffrey?
Because if you look a little further down, you'll see Javon Baker, and he's better.
And he's better than Luke McCaffrey. But I know that name, Dr. Dry. If I know the name, I should just take him, right?
Yeah, Luke McCaffrey, if I remember correctly, I think that there's a lot of guys getting by on last name in this draft. Like, you see Brendan Rice, Brendan Rice shouldn't have gone before some of these guys. There's
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, it may be him or his son, who knows? And then
I'm definitely taking him my next time around.
There you go. Yeah, so a little bit about Javon Baker and why he's awesome. So, and you got him at the 311, which is great. So, Javon Baker, I was really hoping that he would fall to me in the 4th, but I knew it was unlikely.
You told me to take.
Yeah, I did. So I kind of shot myself in the dick there. So, Javon Baker, out of UCF, he averaged, I think it was like 21 yards a catch or something. If you watch his highlight tape, I fall in love with people's highlight tapes, which I know you got to look at with a grain of salt. So I obviously check production too. And one thing about Javon Baker, you can tell he has that dog in him. Like, whenever it's not something that you can really measure. You just see that he has the dog in him. Like, you want to go get that guy.
I'm just glad he's not in a dog.
Right. So yeah, it really starts to get kind of shitty right here, like halfway through the 4th. Jacob Cowing, at the 4.5, he's interesting. He had a really low yards per catch. It was 9.8 or something, but he had 13 touchdowns. He's out of Arizona, kind of an interesting guy. I mean, at this point, you are throwing darts like you're on underdog or something. So players available. Cody Schrader was a running back out of Missouri, just very, I guess, productive.
Oh,
that and productive. Let's see, but you know what? At this point, ADP doesn't matter at all. I'm taking a guy out of FCS, Dylan Lobby. So Dylan Lobby, he played at New Hampshire, and he was just like a monster, PPR monster. He ran a lot of routes out of that backfield. Basically, he was like 80% of their offense, and he played well against good competition. Same thing with Malachi Corley. He killed Ohio State. Ohio State killed WKU, but he got his kind of thing. So I mean, Dylan Lobby, definitely, a good running back in this range. Someone that I think that you can depend on. It's worth the dart throw. It's kind of like, I don't know, like I hit on Puka last year in the 8th round of a rookie draft, but it wasn't just throwing a dart. Like I had done my research and stuff, and I was like, man, I didn't think he'd last this long. I had like a gap where it was like I didn't have a 6th or 7th round pick, and he was still there, and got really lucky there. Matt takes Jermaine Burton, who, let's see, he was I believe he was at Georgia and transferred to Alabama. He's someone you can get excited about in the 4th round too. So really like Jermaine Burton. He also loves talking shit to the crowd. So like he's someone who like really gets jaws back and forth. And I don't know, I kind of like that out of a underrated wide receiver.
So I know we're in the mid rounds here, and Pickens getting slim. So
Getting rough.
top on the board here, we got another running back. Running backs are so few and far in between. I want to get those out of the way. And Isaiah Davis played for South Dakota State here, and it looks like he had past 2 seasons were both over 1,400 yards worth of production. Obviously, keep in mind what conference he plays in, but still worth knowing he could be a dual threat out of the backfield, so worth a shot.
Worth a shot.
They should put their college stats on.
I never realized how much I missed their pictures.
Yeah, the no picture sucks.
Yeah, because that would help, like if they looked like they were really tough or something.
Or like, all right, what if my whole team, like I accidentally drafted an entirely white team? That's a problem.
Don't want.
We're not going to be successful.
Nah.
All right, let's see here. Doc, what are your impressions on the board right now for who's left?
On the board, so one guy I was going to take, but you can have him.
I will. Don't worry.
Wide receiver. You could use a wide receiver.
That's where I was going next.
All right. Do you see Anus Smith?
Anus?
Is it Anias?
It is. It is Anias.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, go Anias Smith. Anias Smith, and he's interesting. Like you want to see more production out of him. He looks better on he looks fast as hell on his highlight tape. He's out of
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, and anyway, just like I don't know, he looks really good on tape, but the production's not there. But at this point, like, why not?
He got that stress fracture looked like during the
yeah, he got hurt.
The man was so stressed about the combine performing well that he gave himself a fracture. So if that guy goes balls to the walls, he's a guy for my team.
There you go.
How do you get hurt during a non-contact? How do you get a stress fracture during a non-contact activity like that?
The combine's a stressful place, man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got brittle bones.
He didn't drink milk when he was a young type.
Or Sweet Little Prince. Oh yeah, that's one of Matt's my guys, Blake Watson. I think he's, I don't know, is it out of Memphis or? Yeah, I think he was a wide receiver converted or something. So let's see. I think I'm going to take another receiver here, unless I can wait. All right. I'm going to take Malik Washington. He's at the top of the chart. He's someone who I think he played 4 or 5 years. He's out of Virginia. Someone who's was just very productive. He was one of those, got a lot of targets, got a lot of catches. So at that point, like, and he's so low, even though he was so productive. But at this point, you gotta kind of take what you can get.
Yep.
All right, off a name alone,
do it.
You gotta have a guy named Moose on your team.
Ooh.
Think about it. When you got a moose in the locker room, like people get hyped for the moose.
Moose.
Yeah, like the crowd loves moose.
Oh yeah.
The locker room loves moose. Coach loves moose. Damn it, moose! Like that just
Yeah. It
comes
can be
right
good
out.
or bad.
Yeah. So you got to have a guy named Moose on your squad, and then I haven't gotten a tight end. I know we don't need one, but why not?
You gonna pick
Ooh,
off a
Murtaugh?
name or
Yeah. Murtaugh is a pretty good name. That's a strong name.
Mrs. Nesbit? That's what wasn't that Buzz Lightyear whenever he lost his arm and
Yes.
had to play with
That
Sid's
was
sister?
his like drugged up ego was Mrs. Nesbit.
He had too much tea.
Yeah, he was wasted on that tea.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, here we go. Ian McClanahan.
There you go.
That rolls off the tongue.
All right. Oh, cool. He almost got taken. All right. I'm gonna go out of Marshall, Rasheen Ali. One of those guys that smaller school, you just got to watch the tape. Another good guy like that, Tyrone Tracy. But bigger school, he's from Purdue. But I like Tyrone Tracy. A lot of people like Carson Steele. And then if you scroll down like almost to the bottom, are you guys familiar with Luis Reese Zamet?
No.
Besides that, it rhymes with damn it. Damn it, Zamet.
Yeah, well, damn it,
all I
Zamet.
got.
Yeah. So damn it, Zamet, he played rugby professionally for a while. And
He's already on a team.
yeah, so like it was weird. Like I don't know how he bypassed the whole draft process and everything, but he did. And he's just on the Kansas City Chiefs now. But like a lot of people are excited about him. I don't know if it's going to translate or not. But he's kind of neat.
Let's see here.
I think he just sold Peepaw on Luis Zamet.
Doc, you got a fan in the crowd here.
Do what?
Joe says Dr. Dry is spitting fire.
Oh, thank you.
Well, he has to say that. He's on
do we have like
he's on the payroll.
Yeah.
Like, of course, he's going to tell the boss he's doing great.
Yeah. So yeah, Joe is actually our social media person now. So shout out to Joe. He made his first official post today, I think. So that was cool, announcing that we were going to be live. How many people are watching right now?
I have no.
3.
Nice.
Plus us 3 makes 6.
That's 6.
All
That's
right.
huge. I mean, Feef's kind of watching over there, so 7.
We still got your cats involved.
Skittles told me I look like I need sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it looks like you got a couple of these guys here that are already on a team. I'm not sold on the Damn It Zamet coming from rugby and going into NFL. It's a completely different game, different shaped ball, different everything. So
he's fast, but
unless you're a kicker, like kickers, I can understand. But I just love the name Nesbit.
Mrs. Nesbit.
Mrs. Nesbit.
And then obviously we saw what Brew McCoy could do in college, so we'll take a shot on him here just to see what he can do.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Brew McCoy's neat. Man, I don't think I like anybody left. I can usually draft pretty deep, but I got nothing.
What about Jordan Whittington?
Hell no. I don't know who it is. I've heard the name Jared Wiley kind of petered around, but
What
I don't know
about
why it's not showing me anything.
Jalen Coker?
Mm, I don't know. I'm a little worried about drugs with him.
Jalen Coker.
All right. Let's
What would you
see.
do if like a real draft went that fast?
Yeah. I did not draft a quarterback or a tight end.
You got to
I'm
get
gonna
a
go
quarterback.
I don't like any of these guys. What we got? Like what? Sam Fartman, Jordan Travis, Devin Leary, Kedon Slovis. No, thank you.
Anyone whose last name starts with Slow, I don't want on my team.
Yeah, they're probably not very fast. I'm gonna go. Damn it, Zamet.
Yeah.
I know he's an old rookie, but that's okay.
Who's the
Yeah,
wildest?
I honestly don't recognize very many names in the 7th round here.
You know, yeah, we're gonna get the cokehead, Jalen Coker.
Nice. All right, let's convert this over to a real dynasty league. Nope. All right. All right, so let's see kind of what happened here.
We got wild.
Any thoughts on anything? I feel like it went fast.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how it shakes up, if at all, after the draft occurs.
Yeah.
We'll have a better idea if their role coming into a team is as wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, your backup quarterback, and you pull a Tom Brady. You wish for bad luck on someone, and it happens, and you get the starting role, and then you're a hero. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. I know. So prime example. So like, I like to look back in prior years. We'll go back 1 year. So, this is actually the only example I have. But Zach Charbonnet, someone I was super pumped about coming out, lands in the worst spot. Like he landed in Seattle. They didn't use him. I ended up having to cut him everywhere. Like it's so like the way we play Dynasty is a little different than like a true Dynasty. Both Dynasty leagues I'm in, we have like cut deadlines, and you really don't keep a full roster. You keep a starting lineup plus like anywhere from 3 to 5 bench. So you are cutting like essentially like a third of your team or something like that. And I think it is the best way to play Dynasty because, there's I don't know, I feel like there's more guys left in the pool. So it really kind of livens up your drafts with, some like at that point where we don't know who the hell any of those guys are, like maybe we start looking at some vets there. But yeah, I mean, Zach Charbonnet, clear victim of horrible landing spot. So like Jalen Hyatt, like I wonder if he didn't land with the NYGD Giants, like if he would have had a better start to his career. Now he's someone that like everyone's forgetting about because he did nothing. So yeah, I mean, you hope that like Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze or Marvin Harrison, none of them fall to like the Giants or something. That would really suck.
What about the Manders?
Yeah. You said the what?
The Manders, the Commanders. Come on now.
Oh,
Peepaw is a busy man. He doesn't have time for full words, damn it.
yeah. You gotta get used to it. It's very
Jeez.
cool lingo.
I think before we finish up, I would like for you to explain your research process because people watching might be really impressed or like, man, I suck at knowing anything about rookies. How do you research your rookies? What's your process?
Or maybe they're in my dynasty leagues and want to know where I'm going. But no, yeah, that's part of having a show, right? So actually, I watch a lot of YouTube. I steal a lot of these takes, and so here's how I kind of take my information, and not everything gospel, right? Like you kind of still draw your own conclusions, but it's like getting the news and then you decide what you want to do with it. So I watch a lot of Flock Fantasy. That's the channel. That's how one day I hope we can be like them. Like that's kind of the goal here in the back of my head whenever we all get more time and can devote more to this and everything. But Flock Fantasy has a couple of channels geared toward Dynasty. I love Dynasty way more than I love regular season. So off season's almost as exciting as in season for me because you're speculating where people are going to go. Trying to find those diamonds in the rough rookies. And I actually don't. So the way that I know so much about rookies is I don't have a first round pick in either of my dynasty leagues, which has kind of prepped me to draft a little bit deeper. So I'm looking at like, all right, let's just say we're not getting the first 15 guys, right? So we're going to look at beyond that and get super excited about those people and kind of go from there. So but yeah, a couple of channels that are really good are let's see, Dynastyland. Dynastyland's really good. A couple guys on Flock Fantasy do that. Dynasty Domain, those guys, I wouldn't hang out with them, but but they know their shit, so they're good. A very like generic name, but he's been doing this a while, and he's probably the most dedicated guy in fantasy. Is the fantasy football show with this guy named Smitty, and he's got a deep voice, real cool guy. But I like a lot of his takes. And then I know I like a lot of takes from a guy that I've met over at Basement Brood Fantasy Football. Actually met him at the Fantasy Football Expo, smaller channel, but he's had some big guests on here recently. Like he had, I think it was Kevin Dyson. He had as a guest, so like he gets like real guests. And Peepaw doing his part reached out to Russell Wilson, but we haven't heard from him yet. So
Right.
we'll get there.
So close.
But but I like that that Peepaw reached out like first day on the job here. So yeah, I mean that's a little bit of my process. Also, a couple things I look for. I don't fall in love with the combine. I watch a great YouTube channel for highlights is Sick Edits with a Z at the end, I think. Sick Edits. They usually like have like just really cool music to go with the highlights, and it just makes you think like, oh man, this guy's good. So they play a lot of NBA YoungBoy and things like that. So don't play it at church or anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, so one thing Matt kind of mentions here, I mentioned like me and him talk a lot. Like it's it does become an addiction, just like watching tape. And even though like you don't run a real franchise, you better treat your dynasty team like it is a real franchise so that you can get that obsession. And it truly does become an addiction. That's doctor's orders. Fall in love with your dynasty team.
Nice. See, I think that's good. I think people
Yeah.
need to know how to do it because they have no idea. So I think you gave
That's
the
it.
people
I mean,
valuable stuff.
yeah, I mean, and a lot of it's eye test. Like you can see if someone has it or if they don't. You can also, um, I don't know, like you got to pay attention to production too and things like that. Like Caleb Williams, I'm not like I also just don't go with consensus thinking. Like, I don't know, like last year, Bijan, clear cut number one, best prospect we've ever seen in the world, can do no wrong. But you got Arthur Smith. So,
In that
Arthur Butthole Smith came into town and just ruined Bijan's first, and he gets a butt cheese boy alert for this one. And
Oh, he's nothing more than a common butt cheese boy.
damn right.
Oh,
So,
he's nothing.
so yeah, Bijan, best prospect we've ever seen. Jameer Gibbs, I remember I had the 1.2. I watched so much Jameer Gibbs film. I was like, I think Gibbs is better than Bijan. I started to believe it. And anyway, he became my guy. We put him on the God Squad. He was one of the few on the God Squad that actually came through. So, I mean, it's not too crazy to think the guy going at 2 will outdo the guy at 1. So that's why I'm such a firm believer on Neighbors outproducing Marvin Harrison Jr. if they both get favorable landing spots. Now, I will walk it back a little bit with Neighbors if he ends up somewhere really crappy and Marvin Harrison Jr. ends up in like any like pretty good spot, I'd draft Harrison Jr. over him. Like landing spot is very important. Even like same team, Seattle Seahawks, JSN, like he looked like the clear-cut number one receiver. There have been several rookies that outshined him this year. So, although I think his outlook looks good, better than most, but basically, you got to pay attention to those things, avoid groupthink, ADP be damned. If you have a guy that you really like, think of it as like, hey, is he still going to be around by the time he gets back to me? And if he's the guy that I want, I'm going to go get him. So I think that's a good approach for everyone to take into their drafts.
Nice. See, that's why we do it. Just helping the people a little bit. Like it. Well, any other business before we get out of here?
I think we got something. We have to pay homage to the man, the myth.
Hi, this is Boots Donnelly. When I'm not busy coaching the Blue Raiders, I like to drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon. So next time you're cracking a Pabst, make sure you dedicate your next DUI to me, Boots Donnelly.
All right. Don't forget,
Boots.
He's always here for us. And, on campus at Middle Tennessee State, I have confirmed there is a shrine, a literal shrine to Boots Donnelly that includes a life-size bronze statue of Boots going like that. So pay homage, make a pilgrimage down to Murfreesboro, the center of Tennessee, visit the campus, and you can take a picture with Boots. We found out he's still alive, right? He's not dead.
Yeah, he's not dead. I pray to him every night, but he's not dead. But yeah, Boots Donnelly, like that statue needs a life-size Pabst Blue Ribbon in his hand too. So if anyone brings over a Pabst to the shrine, make sure you give one to Boots. Maybe pour one out by the statue in his memory.
I got to get over to the shrine. Maybe next week. I'm getting over there. I'm getting a picture with Boots, damn it.
All right.
Good stuff.
I guess that covers everything, and we'll probably do another show post-draft, kind of update this order a little bit and kind of give reaction to the draft in a whole as to what happened.
Yeah, I think that's the next move is do a post one of these, and then also, I think we can, work on our rankings. Like we can each do individual ones, Joe too, and then put it together like a composite as well. Like I think that would be really cool for the people.
Yeah.
We can do rookies, and then we can even do like an overall like tier system or something. So whatever we want to do. We haven't been in the lab in a while. Like honestly, we're all at the busiest point in our lives. So like it's, we do what we can with what we got. But fifth quarter Fantasy Cast going in a positive direction. Hopefully we get our 39th subscriber here soon.
Let's get it. Okay, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Between the song of birds.